Hello and welcome to another part of this chapter, numerical analysis. In the previous part we have discussed about forward difference operator and shift operator. In this part we shall discuss about backward difference operator. First of all we shall recap the previous part. In the previous part we have discussed that suppose there is a function y equal to fx which is defined on this closed interval a to b, and if we break the interval a to b into n equal parts with the common width h of each subinterval, then the points are x0, x1, x2, xn, where x1 equal to x0 plus h, x2 equal to x0 plus 2h. Now if we compute the functional values at these points, then we get the values y0, y1, y2 up to yn, and x0, x1, x2 these are called arguments or nodes, and the functional values at these points are called entries. So y0, y1, y2 these are entries. Now we have defined the shift operator. It is denoted by capital E. So if we apply this shift operator on fx, then it becomes f of x plus h. Now in the language of entries, if we apply this shift operator on the entry yk, then it becomes yk plus 1. So shift operator shifts the entry to the next entry. And then we have defined forward difference operator, which is denoted by delta. So if we apply this delta on fx, then we shall get f of x plus h minus fx. And if we apply this delta on the entry yk, then it is equal to yk plus 1 minus yk. So if we apply this forward difference operator on an entry, then it becomes the next entry minus this entry. And also we have derived the relation between E and delta. We have obtained that delta equal to E minus 1. Now in this part we shall first discuss about backward difference operator. So let us define the backward difference operator. Backward difference operator is denoted by this inverted delta, which is called nabla operator. So if we apply this backward difference operator on the function fx, then it becomes f of x minus f of x minus h. So if we apply this delta on fx, then it becomes fx minus f of x minus h. Now in the language of entries, if we apply this inverted delta on yk, then it becomes yk minus yk minus 1. So if we apply the backward difference operator on an entry, then it becomes this entry minus the previous entry. In particular, if we apply this backward difference operator on y1, we shall get y1 minus y0. If we apply this backward difference operator on y2, then it becomes y2 minus y1. Now remember that if we apply this backward difference operator in y0, then this value cannot be found, because by the definition this is y0 minus y minus 1. But y minus 1 is not available, so this value cannot be found. So this operator is called backward difference operator. So just remember the difference between forward difference operator and backward difference operator. If we apply the forward difference operator on an entry, then it becomes the next entry minus this entry. But if we apply this backward difference operator on that entry, then it becomes this entry minus the previous entry. In the previous part, we have obtained the relation between the forward difference operator and the shift operator. Forward difference operator delta equal to E minus 1. Now we shall find the relation between the backward difference operator and the shift operator. If we apply the backward difference operator on fx, then by the definition it becomes fx minus f of x minus h. Now it is fx minus, now f of x minus h, this can be written as e to the power minus 1 of fx. That means if we apply this operator e to the power minus 1 on fx, then it becomes f of x minus h. This is the definition of shift operator. So this is equal to 1 minus e to the power minus 1 of fx. Now if we cancel fx from both sides, then we find inverted delta is equivalent to 1 minus e to the power minus 1. So this is the relation between backward difference operator inverted delta and the shift operator e. Remember that we cannot write this delta equal to this because these two are operators. So if we apply this inverted delta on a function fx, then the result will be same if we apply this operator on fx. So this is the required relation between backward difference operator and shift operator. Next we consider some properties of backward difference operator. These properties are exactly the same properties that we have discussed in the previous part for the forward difference operator. The first property is if we apply this backward difference operator on a constant c, then it becomes 0. Now the proof is very simple. If we assume that the function fx equal to the constant c, then f of x minus h, this will be equal to c because this is a constant function. So if we apply this backward difference operator on fx, then we know that from the definition it is fx minus f of x minus h. Now if fx equal to c, then fx equal to c and f of x minus h, this is again equal to c. So it is c minus c, that is equal to 0. So the first order backward difference of any constant is equal to 0. Now the second property, if we apply this backward difference operator on fx plus gx, then it will be the backward difference operator on fx plus backward difference operator on gx. Next property is we can take any constant k outside the backward difference operator. And the final property, if we apply the backward difference operator m plus n times on fx, then this result is equal to the result if we apply the backward difference operator delta on fx n times, and after that we apply the same operator m times on that function. Now we consider higher order backward differences. We know from the definition that if we apply the backward difference operator on fx, then it becomes fx minus f of x minus h. Now we shall obtain the results if we apply this backward difference operator multiple times on fx. Let us find delta square fx. Now we have already obtained that delta, backward delta, this is equivalent to this operator 1 minus e to the power minus 1. So this is 1 minus e to the power minus 1 square of fx. This is the relation between the backward difference operator and the shift operator. So if we expand this, we get 1 minus 2 times e to the power minus 1 plus e to the power minus 2, the shift operator, on fx. Now this can be written as fx minus 2 times e minus 1 of fx plus e minus 2 of fx. So this is fx minus 2 times. Now if we apply this operator e minus 1 on fx, we get f of x minus h, plus if we apply this operator on fx, then we get f of x minus 2h. So if we apply this operator 2 times on fx, then we get fx minus 2 times f of x minus h plus f of x minus 2h. So if we apply this backward difference operator on yk, that means y minus e minus 1 square of yk. So this is 1 minus 2 e minus 1 plus e minus 2 of yk, and that is equal to yk minus 2 times e minus 1 of yk plus e minus 2 of yk. So it is yk minus 2 times, if we apply e minus 1 on yk, it becomes yk minus 1, plus if we apply e minus 2 on yk, it becomes yk minus 2. So if we apply the backward difference operator 2 times on yk, then it becomes yk minus 2 2 times the previous entry yk minus 1 plus yk minus 2. You can check that if we apply this backward difference operator 3 times on yk, then it becomes yk minus 3 times yk minus 1 plus 3 times yk minus 2 and finally yk minus 3. If we look carefully, we shall find that the coefficients of delta cube yk, these are nothing but the coefficients of the binomial expansion of a minus b cube. Similarly, these coefficients are equivalent to the coefficients of a minus b square. So using this shift operator, you can obtain any order backward differences of yk. Now, for delta square yk, we find that delta square y0 is not defined, because for that we need y minus 1 and y minus 2. So delta square y0 cannot be found. Similarly, delta square y1 cannot be found. Now we can obtain any higher order backward differences of any entry by using backward difference table. So next we shall discuss how to construct a backward difference table. In the previous part we have discussed how to construct forward difference table. Now we shall discuss how to construct backward difference table. Suppose there are 5 number of arguments x0, x1, x2, x3, x4 and corresponding 5 number of entries y0, y1, y2, y3, y4. We shall construct the backward difference table. So first we write the arguments and next we write the entries. First we find first order backward differences. Now if we apply the backward difference on y0, we know from the formula that then it becomes y0 minus y minus 1, but y minus 1 is not available, so we can't find backward delta operator on y0. So this will be left blank. Next, if we apply this backward difference operator on y1, then by the definition it is y1 minus y0. If we apply this on y2, then it becomes y2 minus y1. If we apply this on y3, it becomes y3 minus y2. And finally, if we apply this backward difference operator on y4, it becomes y4 minus y3. So there is a specific rule to construct this table. If you look carefully, you shall find that this value can be found by subtracting the previous value from this value. So to find this value, we need to subtract this value from this one. Similarly, to find this value, we need to subtract the previous value, that is y1, from this value, that means from y2. So this can be found by subtracting y1 from y2. Similarly, this value can be found by subtracting the previous value, that is y2, from this value y3. And finally, this value can be found by subtracting y3 from y4. So these are the first order backward differences. Next, the second order backward differences. Cannot find this one because this is delta square y1. So to find delta square y1, we need y1, y0 and y minus 1, but y minus 1 is not available, so we cannot find this value. In other language, to find this value, we need this value and previous value. Here we find that the previous value is not available, so we can't find this value. Next, this one, delta square y2, and by the formula delta square y2 is equal to delta y2 minus delta y1. Now how to find delta y2? So this is the column of delta and this is y2, so this value is delta y2 minus delta y1. Now this is delta and this is y1, so this is delta y1. So to find this value, we have to subtract the previous value, that is y1 minus y0, from this value, that is y2 minus y1. Next, to find this value, we need to subtract the previous value, this one, from this value. Now this is delta y3 and this is delta y2. So to find this value, we have to subtract the previous value from this value. Similarly, to find this value, we need to subtract the previous value, that is y3 minus y2, from this value, that is y4 minus y3. So these are the second order backward differences. Next we find the third order backward differences. Now we find that the first three third order backward differences cannot be found. So delta cube y0, delta cube y1 and delta cube y2, these cannot be found. First we need to find delta cube y3, and by the definition this is delta square y3 minus delta square y2. Now what is the value of delta square y3? Now this is the column of delta square and this is y3. So this is delta square y3 minus delta square y2 and this is delta square y2. So to find this value we need to subtract this value from this one. Next, delta cube of y4. Now this can be found by subtracting the previous value from this value. So this is this value minus this value. So delta square y4 minus delta square y3. This is delta square y4 and this is delta square y3. So these are the two third order backward differences. Next, delta 4 fx, that means the fourth order backward differences. And in this case we shall find only one value, that is delta 4 of y4. This can be found by subtracting this value from this value. This is delta cube y3 and this is delta cube y4. So delta cube y4 minus delta cube y3, this is equal to delta 4 y4. So if we subtract this value from this value, we get this fourth order backward difference. Now using this backward difference table, we can find any order backward difference of any entry. As for example, if we want to calculate delta square y4, then we have to check the column of delta square. So this is delta square and y4. So this is y4. So this value is equal to delta square y4. So from this backward difference table, we can find any order backward difference of any given entry. So far we have defined three operators: the forward difference operator, the backward difference operator and the shift operator. Now here is one more operator, that is differential operator. This is nothing but the derivative we have used in analysis. So if we apply this operator on fx, then we get f dash x. That means derivative with respect to x. If we apply 2 times on fx, then it becomes f double dash x. So this is differential operator. We shall obtain a relation between this differential operator and forward difference operator. We know that the Taylor series expansion of the function f of x plus h is given by fx plus h into f dash x plus h square by 2 factorial into f double dash x up to infinity. So this is the Taylor series expansion of the function f of x plus h. Now we can write that this is equal to f of x plus h into, now using the differential operator, f dash x can be written as d of fx. So we write this is d of fx plus h square by 2 factorial. Now f double dash x, this can be written as d square fx. So it is d square fx and up to infinity. Now if we take fx common here, it becomes 1 plus hd plus hd square by 2 factorial. So if we write here by 1 factorial, then this is the expansion of e to the power hd. So this series is nothing but e to the power hd, because we know that expansion of e to the power x is 1 plus x by 1 factorial plus x square by 2 factorial up to infinity. So this expansion is equal to e to the power hd. So this is e to the power hd on the function fx. Now f of x plus h, we can write that this is equal to e of fx. If we apply the shift operator on fx, then it becomes f of x plus h. So this is equal to e hd fx. Now if we cancel fx from both sides, we get e, this is equivalent to e to the power hd. So this is the required relation between the shift operator and the differential operator. And again we know that e equal to 1 plus delta. So 1 plus delta, this is equivalent to e to the power hd. So we must remember this formula. Again we consider the Taylor series expansion of f x plus h. So this is the Taylor series expansion of fx plus h. Now if h is very small, then we can neglect h square and higher order terms of h. So if h is very small, then f of x plus h, this is almost equal to fx plus h into f dash x. So if we take this fx on the left hand side, then it becomes f of x plus h minus fx, that is almost equal to h into f dash x. Now this can be written as forward difference of fx. So forward difference of fx, this is equal to h f dash x. That means if h is very small, then forward difference of fx, this is almost equal to h into f dash x. Similarly, delta square fx, this will be almost equal to h square into f double dash x if h is very small. So in general, kth order forward difference of fx, this can be written as h to the power k into f k time derivative of x. Remember that h must be very small. Next we consider the fundamental theorem of difference calculus. It states that if fx is a polynomial of degree n, then the nth difference of fx is a constant and the n plus 1th difference is 0. So let us consider this n degree polynomial given by a0 plus a1x plus a2x square up to an x to the power n, where a0, a1, a2, an, these are coefficients of the polynomial where an must be non-zero. So this is any n degree polynomial. Now it is given that the nth difference of fx is a constant. So you can take either forward difference or backward difference. In both the cases, the result will be the same. So in this case, we consider only the forward difference. So if we take the forward difference of fx, we know from the definition this is f of x plus h minus fx. Now fx is given by this. So f of x plus h, this will be a0 plus a1 into x plus h plus a2 into x plus h square up to an into x plus h to the power n. Now this is minus fx. Now this is fx, so a0 plus a1x plus a2x square up to an x to the power n. Now if we expand this term x plus h to the power n, there will be one term x to the power n, and here it is an x to the power n, and there is one an x to the power n with minus sign. So these two terms will be cancelled out, and for all the remaining terms the maximum power of x is n minus 1. And for this function fx also, if this term is cancelled out, then the maximum power of x will be n minus 1. So if we simplify these terms after cancelling some terms and after plus minus or simplifying, we find that the maximum power of x will be n minus 1. So ultimately this will be a polynomial of degree n minus 1. We assume that the polynomial is b0 plus b1x plus b2x square up to bn minus 1 x to the power n minus 1. So if we take the first order forward difference on fx, then it becomes a polynomial of degree n minus 1. Next we shall take the second order forward difference on fx. So if we take the second order forward difference on fx, then this is delta into delta fx, and we know that delta fx equal to f of x plus h minus fx. So then delta square fx, this is delta of fx plus h minus delta fx. Now we have already obtained that delta fx is a polynomial of degree n minus 1, which is this one. So delta fx plus h can be found by replacing x plus h in place of x in delta fx. So delta fx plus h, this will be b0 plus b1 into x plus h plus b2 into x plus h square and up to bn minus 1 into x plus h to the power n minus 1. So this is delta of fx plus h. minus delta fx, and delta fx is this polynomial. So we replace the polynomial here. Now here we find that the maximum power of x is n minus 1. If we expand this binomial term, then there will be one term having the power of x is n minus 1, which is bn minus 1 into x to the power n minus 1. And here is one more term, bn minus 1 x to the power n minus 1, having the negative sign. So these two terms will be cancelled out, and if we simplify this, then after the simplification we find that the maximum power of x will be n minus 2. So after the simplification, this becomes a polynomial of degree n minus 2. We assume that the polynomial is given by c0 plus c1x plus c2x square up to cn minus 2 into x to the power n minus 2, where c0, c1, c2, these are constants. Now this is interesting because if we take first order forward difference on fx, then the degree of fx is reduced by 1. If we take the second order forward difference on fx, then its degree is reduced by 2. So continuing in this process, if we take the kth order forward difference of fx on this polynomial, then its degree will be reduced by k. So continuing in this process, if we take the n minus 1th forward difference of fx, then it will be a polynomial of degree 1. So any first degree polynomial can be assumed as u0 plus u1x. So n minus 1th forward difference of fx is a first degree polynomial. Now we shall take nth order forward difference on fx. So we have nth order forward difference on fx. These can be written as delta into delta to the power n minus 1 of fx. Now that is equal to delta of this one, and we have already obtained that this is u0 plus u1x. Suppose this is phi x, so this is delta of phi x, and now by the definition it is phi x plus h minus phi x. Now phi x equal to u0 plus u1x, so phi x plus h will be u0 plus u1 into x plus h minus phi x, which is u0 plus u1 x. Now u0 will be cancelled out and u1x minus u1x will be cancelled out, so ultimately it will be u1 h. Now u1 is a constant, h is a constant, so the nth forward difference of fx is a constant. Suppose this constant is equal to v0. So here we have obtained that nth order forward difference of a polynomial of degree n is a constant v0. Now we take one more forward difference on delta to the power n. So if we take n plus 1th forward difference of fx, then it becomes delta into delta to the power n of fx. Now we have already obtained that delta to the power n fx is a constant which is v0. So that means forward difference of v0. And we know that the forward difference of any constant is equal to 0. So the n plus 1th forward difference of a polynomial of degree n is equal to 0. So that completes the proof that nth order forward difference of any polynomial of degree n is a constant, and n plus 1th forward difference of that polynomial is equal to 0. So this is the fundamental theorem of difference calculus. So just remember that if fx is a polynomial of degree 3, then the third order forward difference of fx will be a constant, and if we take fourth order forward difference of fx, then it will be 0. Now this fundamental theorem of difference calculus is very useful to solve some problems. In the next part we shall solve some problems by using this fundamental theorem of difference calculus. In the next part we shall also consider the Newton-Gregory formula that will be used to solve some problems. So see you in the next part. Until then, thanks for watching.